Hi and welcome to John's Maths book. In this video, we're going to be looking at the cosine rule. If you like the video, then please hit the like button and I'd be delighted and honored if you'd subscribe to the channel. Without further ado, let's go over to the whiteboard. The cosine rule can be used to find angles and sides of a triangle where it's not possible to use the sine rule. The cosine rule can also be used in right angle triangles, so a triangle with an angle of 90 degrees. The cosine rule says if we know the length of any two sides of a triangle and we know the angle in between those two sides, then we can work out the third side. So if we look at our triangle here, we have angles A, B and C in capitals and sides A, B and C in lowercase. The cosine rule says A squared is equal to B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cos A. B squared equals A squared plus C squared minus 2AC cos B. Or C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared minus 2AB cos C. So we can use these equations to find the sides A, B and C when we have the other two sides plus the angle between the other two sides. Now let's take a look at an example of how we might use the cosine rule. So if we look at triangle 1 up on the top left, we see that we have a triangle where we know two of the sides and we know the angle in between those sides. So that's known as a side angle side case. So if you note in this triangle, we cannot use the sine rule to calculate anything because we have two sides, but we don't have their opposing angles. But we can, in this case, use the cosine rule to find the third side, C. We know that C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared minus 2AB cos C. If we now plug the numbers into this equation, we have C squared is equal to 12 squared plus 8 squared minus 2 times 12 times 8 multiplied by the cosine of angle C, which is here. So multiplied by the cosine of 48 degrees. So if we work this out, we find that C squared is equal to 208 minus 192, and the cosine of 48 degrees is 0.67. The C squared is equal to 79.36. So C is equal to the square root of 79.36. So C is equal to 8.9. So if I write in the value of C here against triangle 1. So now we have three sides and one angle. We can use the law of sines to find another angle and then find the third angle by subtracting the sum of the other two angles from 180 degrees. Now let's look at triangle 2, where we have three of the given sides, but none of the angles of the triangle. This is known as a side-side-side triangle, and we can use the cosine rule to calculate the angles of the triangle. Note that we can't use the sine rule again in this case because we don't have any of the angles. So in this case, we can use the cosine rule as follows. We can say A squared is equal to B squared plus C squared minus 2BC, and the cosine of angle alpha, the angle here. We can say, so if we plug the numbers into this equation, we have A squared, 12 squared, is equal to B squared, which is 8 squared, plus C squared, 10 squared, minus 2 times 8 times 10 multiplied by the cosine of alpha. That's 144 is equal to 64 plus 100 minus 160 multiplied by cosine of alpha. So 160 times the cosine of alpha is equal to 164 minus 144. The cosine of alpha is equal to 20 divided by 160, which is equal to 0.125. So alpha is equal to the inverse cosine of 0.125, which is equal to 82.82 degrees. So now we have three sides on one of the angles. We can use the sine rule if we want to calculate a second angle and then subtract the sum of those two angles from 180 degrees to find the third angle.